Me too.
You picked a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there was some other things. It was just the guy was really trigger doors.
How are you? Hey, how are you?
That's what I'm, yes, I was thinking. Oh, about the classes. I didn't actually, I was in and out for about 2 minutes and I saw your email, I saw the email, and I clicked he was good, but I had to click on it. Do you remember it? Are they good topics? Did he answer your questions?
Hey, y'all.
Let him know what went on.
This lady is
Like I said, I saw it.
unfortunately, she won.
Sometimes you been doing all right.
I figured not too good, though. Roberts and Brandon Roberts. Yeah, I know.
It is extensive as the other thing that you might do with ARC.
I look forward to reading the book.
How would you name this lady here?
How are you? You look so familiar. Okay. Well, but I'm First Methodist. Well, then the city no, I'm sure we don't cross each other. How do you know you? This is Erin. Oh, I know your name too. I'm a professional volunteer.
Works all the time.
I mean, I'm on the ministry board, I worked at Cherokee High School for years. Maybe it is. I subbed there 9, 10 years and worked full time for 2 years. I worked, actually, I worked in the front office for 1 year with Mr. Sebring. And then I worked for one of the assistant principals in the special ed department for a year. Until the grant that paid my salary ran out. I had to go back to subbing. And how are you?
We don't require, we don't require.
I know there are people I should know, I just haven't met them. It would be one. But we still would
You got it, thank you.
got it. Okay. I'll produce it. It's not very detailed.
Really? So, yeah. This is yeah, we just got it. Good. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Gene Hopkins.
Okay, how are you? Did you have a good Thanksgiving? Thank you. Got to see a lot of Mr. I got my double bill last week. Not until I saw it renewed. When I saw it, I said, and I guess it must say it on the bill somewhere. Okay. So no, they said that on the bill. They said it's separate. Oh, well, that's good. That was good to know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I try to get really nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Until the new year starts. Then you can start early.
Rodney, how are you? This is Susie. She's NHG House. She's here for the day. And actually, yeah. She's
Been seeing you on TV.
Ma'am?
Been seeing you on TV.
Nice to show you the day. How you doing? It was a non-story.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I love to sign with you last week. Garland around the light post. I saw the sign in the window. That's why I was up against the wall. Well, that's what it was.
Hey, how are you?
Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is our regular work session, December the 1st, 2011. And if you would, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tanner, would you give the invocation, please?
Let us pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, once again we come to you with our heads, asking that you be one with us. Father, we want to once again say thank you. Thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon us today, yesterday, and for the days to come. Father, we want to ask that you continue to bless those who are less fortunate than we are. Bless those who are here, Father. Bless those who are en route here, and continue to bless us as we leave. And Father, as we prepare to go into the business of the city, we ask that you bless the leaders of this city, continue to lead us and guide us and order our steps in the way that you would have us to go. And let us not forget to ask your blessings upon the military personnel and their families. And again, Father, bless those who are less fortunate than we are as we go into this season of giving and receiving. Let us remember that it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. These and all other blessings we do ask in God's name. Amen.
Before we begin with our approval of our agenda, I'd like to introduce Susie Garrett, who is the mayor for today. She actually bid on that in connection with the fundraiser for the Cherokee County Aging Council. So she is picked today. She's been working with me today and visiting different departments, and so she's getting a little taste of what goes on here on a day-to-day basis. So I hope you'll welcome her. She's lives in the Clayton community of Cherokee County, and she has a catering business, actually a private catering business, and she brought an array of baked goods today that were phenomenal. So if anybody needs any catering, a number of us can testify that it's excellent. I got to tell you. So welcome, and we appreciate you being here, and particularly on behalf of the Aging Council, I'd like to say thank you for being willing to spend good money to spend this kind of day. It's got to have been fairly wearing. You probably sleep good tonight, doesn't it? Thank you very much. Okay, we have, I would entertain a motion to consider the approval of our agenda. Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second, but we do need, I would ask that you amend the agenda to include amending our ordinance regarding working of construction over the weekend. The roofing contractor has asked that we allow them to work over the weekend, and I think we ought to do that, assuming they're not going to create a disturbance in the community. But our ordinance does set the hours, so I would ask that we amend that to include their ability to carry out their work this weekend. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay. Any other discussion or questions?
Could that be relative to, subject to subsequent weekends as well, and not limit them
Just to this, sure. That's okay with you, I'm sure. Okay. Any other discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. All members voted for the motion. Certainly like to welcome all of our guests and visitors here tonight. And the first item that we have is a proclamation that we do on an annual basis, which is dealing with the recycling of the Christmas trees that is going to be coming up here very, very shortly. Bring one for the Chipper Day. And I will read this. Whereas recycling reduces the waste stream, thus saving tax dollars and improving our environment. And whereas the city of Canton is committed to reducing the waste stream, thus helping the state of Georgia reach a per capita waste disposal reduction goal. And whereas the Keep Georgia Beautiful program of the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, the Home Depot, the Davy Tree Expert Company, and WXI ATV, and Ferry Morris Seed Company are sponsoring the 21st year of the Bring One for the Chipper Christmas Tree Recycling Program. And whereas this program promotes the recycling of Christmas trees into usable mulch material and provides city residents easy access to drop-off sites. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Gene Hobgood, Mayor of the City of Canton, hereby proclaim Saturday, January the 7th, 2012, as Bring One for the Chipper Day in Canton. This first day of December 2011. So on December, is that the day we're going to have the collect the Christmas trees here at City Hall?
No, it's going to be at Bowling Park.
At Bowling Park, okay. So if you have the Christmas tree and you get it down by the 7th, need to recycle it, take it over to Bowling Park. Our 10-minute public input, we have one gentleman, Hyan Park. If you would come up, I'd like to make some comments. Yes, sir.
Yes, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Park from Korea. I moved to America 4 years ago, so my English is not good. So I understand. If my word sounds rude, but it is a poor English, because poor English, please. I am very polite man. Yes, and this is first time to talk, so
Sure.
I don't know the procedure or the development. So, but I have some feelings about 4 years long business here, and I would like to talk about my idea here.
Absolutely.
Yes, first of all, I would like thank you for your share to talk of my idea, and then I have a very good impression about the Canton City for very good efforts of the build and maintain good environment for business and living in Canton. Very nice place. Thank you. This is my second home. Yes, I run gas station in the Hickory Flat Highway 140, 4 years long. And the first topic I would like to talk about is slow business. As you know, all the places really, from my understanding, America is really fight as slow business. It's very regular. But I think it takes a little bit time that it will be recovered soon. I believe, I pray every night. And that, because of slow business, we have to survive. And I wonder, I scared this winter to be very cold and very long. And I wonder some stores must be closed because of slow business. I met many dealers like Budweiser and Miller. They have salesmen has stressful because of slow down business. So we have to. But I spend more time to squeeze the expenses rather than expand the sales expansion because of the slow business market trend. So I want to ask one thing. We have a beer license, BOI license. I paid $2,000. BOI license, $2,000. It's very expensive. Cherokee County paid only $750 for BOI license 1 year. And I checked my friend at another cities and counties. They paid $1,000 or $1,200. But only Canton City paid $2,000. It's very unusual expenses. So I have to save expense. So I'd like to ask you to, yes, I understand. City of Canton needs more money. So I have a chapter, and then the last of chapter is the allowing. The topic is the fee of the Sunday package sales. But my understanding, the subject is like this. Allow or not allow is first topic. Second topic is when allowed. And third topic is the fee. But fee is the first topic here. This means fee is very important for the city of Canton, I think. Do you understand what I mean?
Reasonably so. I got most of it.
I think $2,000 is very expensive, so I would like to ask you to lower the expenses to make Cherokee County $750.
Okay.
And then additionally, we have to pay Sunday package sales expenses. Then it's double damage. So please consider the situation. If my idea is, if sales big like a racetrack or QT, they could pay $2,000, but small, medium size to be lower, reasonably. Yes, and my second idea is there's too many gas stations here. Highway 575, exit 20. There's only half a mile. There's 6 to 7 gas stations there, and the exit 16 came up. There is a big gas station, and then city allowed the racetrack and the Shell gas station closed it. And then they only 1 minute driving course. There's 3 gas stations, too many places, and then it's no good. Please think of the unnecessary competition and allow new. So this slow business trend, I'd like to think more carefully to allow new business. Yes.
I understand.
Yes.
I understand.
And then the last topic I would like to ask you sincerely. City has an idea to support small business. City could support. I'd like to support how to survive this bad economic situation. Help. How to help? There is some way, some idea. Not in mind, some necessary action, feasible action.
You're looking for ways for the city to help small business.
Yes.
That's what you're asking, right?
Yes. This is a homework, please.
I think you make some very good points there. I think it's something we need to consider, and particularly the fee situation. I don't know that we have had or have a survey of the surrounding areas of what others may or may not charge. I think that's something we need really before we, establish and set the fees, particularly for the Sunday sales. We need to know what others are doing as well. But I think we do need to look at that certainly.
I'm understanding you could have some idea that you could have some good business potential in Canton area. Something special for the business. I think some task force team could consider this kind of some idea brainstorming, that they could make some feasible idea, I think. Yes.
I missed part of that. You're going
White
back
sham
up.
reading is not so good. Just yes, great.
Oh, I see. I got you.
They could make some idea to develop in just no wait, no watching.
Yeah, I think that's
Action. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here and making those comments. Thank you. I think you made some very good points. I think we do need to look into that. I think, we've got to do more for existing business as well as, trying to attract new business. But we need to take care as much as we can of the business that we have here and try to look after that. I think that, in the next few weeks, maybe we will appoint a task force. I'd like to talk to some of the council members and maybe appoint a task force to look into this and to work toward economic development for the city. All right. And also, we do need to, of course, later on in the agenda when we talk a little bit about the Sunday sales fee, but we could also incorporate into that the perhaps a revisiting of our total package as well as pouring license fees, and see. We need to know for sure and feel comfortable that we're within the range of where we ought to be. Under old business, the discussion of the collection side, Mr. Beresford.
Yes, thank you. We had a meeting this afternoon with Councilman Rush and Mr. Jimmy and myself in discussing the site collection. And first of all, I want to say that we've had thrown out from time to time that we might just close the place because we're losing money. But in the same vein, it's an excellent service for our citizens, and we don't want to do that. But also in the same vein, we don't want to lose money. Mr. Jimmy has been working very diligently in these past months and coming up with some additional ways of reducing our costs and overhead. And we're still looking at some other opportunities that we might be able to move forward and save cost. And we need to get that figured down. And then we need to see where we're at, and we're getting close. Maybe we have a price increase, but we don't want to do anything until we get these numbers in. It's probably going to be a couple of months that we need to see how we're tracking. So as it stands right now, we're moving ahead.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I might add, the point about moving ahead is that a year ago, we were losing $70,000, and now with the projections, we're looking at something closer to $20,000 loss, which is a significant savings, and we still keep the service, and Mr. Canjemi is going to work, we're going to work harder, and he's eliminating certain facets of it, so we're hoping that we can get her down to break even.
Good. I think it has been a good service for the residents of this city, there's no doubt.
Yeah, I'd like to point out, if that was the federal government, that would be a 300% cost savings.
Absolutely. Okay, discussion of residential plan review fees. Ken will take care of it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. If you will recall at the city council meeting 2 weeks ago, council requested some additional information, survey other communities in regards to residential plan review fees. We did contact more cities, gave an updated list. It's not a thorough survey of all governments in the state of Georgia. We had previously discussed options for fees, whether it be a flat fee or incorporate something as far as a percentage with the building permit. We would request consideration for a flat rate fee for a residential plan review for new construction of $100 and for alterations, additions, $25.
Okay, any discussion on that? Questions? Yeah, go ahead.
When we have a subdivision come in and they have 4 model homes, we're talking $100 per model home. And that would be it, not for any of the 300 homes they'll build.
No, sir. Track builder or even a smaller builder, if he's going to build the same model home, whether he has 1, 2, or 3 models, he would give that model a name or a number. They would pay the review fee one time when they draw building permits. For multiple versions, they would include a form stating this is what they're going to build on that second, third, fourth, 10th, 20th lot.
Yeah, I'm slow.
One fee for each model.
Thank you. At $100 a shot.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Patton, would you explain what you were talking about here on your chart? You say other, and you're looking at the additions, is this additions to the models or additions to a dwelling that's already?
Additions to existing structures, whether it's an addition, alteration that would require a review because of structural or some of the trades, electrical, mechanical. That's what that addition alteration refers to, and that's the reason for the $25 fee on that.
Okay, any other questions?
You're looking for an action taken at the next council meeting?
Yes, sir.
We'll put that on the
It'll be
agenda.
on the agenda for the next meeting. Okay. Let's see. Thank you, Ken.
Yes, sir.
Under new business, we have the October financials. You have that in your packet. Any questions, discussion? Okay. Then all's well with that. Yeah, anybody have a comment, question? All right. You, John? I don't want to go too far.
No, I know that. No, at our next meeting, we will have another look at the final 2011 budget numbers, and it'll be off that second page. And I know Mr. Ingram has been working on that, and we will have questions and answers at that time.
Yeah. The only one comment that I would have, and on the current financial, which is for the this fiscal year, under fines and forfeitures, you know, and I'm not sure exactly why, but for instance, see, we don't show any, so there's been no distribution from the municipal court to the general fund at this point. And I was wondering, could that not be done monthly instead of just 2 or 3 times a year? Is that would that be a problem to have that done monthly? Because what it does, it skews your percentage here. If you know in-house the municipal court's collected probably on the order of $69,000–$70,000 for this past month, but yet it's not reflected in this report. It looks like, to me, it really ought to be on a month-to-month basis, unless there's a reason that we can't distribute that money on a monthly basis.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
We had a discussion last year in reference to that, and there's running in arrears, and I don't recall exactly what the problem was, but sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's 2 months.
Right.
And it's got to clear through a state issue or something. It could be.
Well, I understand.
But I don't
know. Nathan, is there a reason that could be done or not?
We'll certainly look into it
Okay.
and answer back to the council.
That's good. Yeah, thank you. Anything else on the financials? Discussion of water rebate for water conservation of low flow, dual flush toilets. Mr. Rush.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. What I did was put together some information that everybody here has as a packet. I patterned this toilet rebate program somewhat after the city of Cartersville, and I was aware of the Metropolitan North Georgia Water District's planning and procedure, and the thing that is more unique of ours to the ones that are in existence right now, even with Cherokee Water, is that the dual flush toilet, in opinion of many people, is more efficient than just a simple 1.6 gallon flush, because you've got two types of flushes, one for solids, one for liquids, and then the liquid one is less than 1.6, that means 1.1 gallons. What we also suggesting is that we have one rebate per household if council wants to do more, as I think the North Georgia does, is two. We do that as a credit to their water bill. And I have also talked with Lowe's and with Home Depot, and they each have agreed to give residents of Canton a 10% discount on the purchase of the toilets. And there's four, in the packet, there's 4 different models that, 2 from each retailer that are considered dual flush toilets. And one, the American standard, is $198, and then the other 2 are around $100 a piece. But I think what this have a benefit for the city. At our rates, Joby figured out that a family of 4 using one dual flush toilet would have a payback without any rebate in 1.9 years on an old style 5-gallon flush toilet, and it's like 3.5 years on a more recent 3.5-gallon flush toilet. So the other communities around us have had something like this. I think that this would be something good for the citizens, plus it would be beneficial for us, because if we reduce the inflow to the wastewater plant, it'd be better for us as well, because that's part of our problems in our water and sewer system. So I have this for everybody to take a look at, and any comments, and I understand there's a lady here from the Metropolitan North Georgia to talk about their program as well.
Right. Laura Nance. Okay, thank you for coming, and we appreciate you being here tonight. And I did talk as well to the Cherokee Water and Sewer Authority. I knew they were on the program you mentioned there, and I didn't know whether it would benefit us. I'd like to take a look at both aspects, whether or not we administer this program, or if we have someone like go through ARC to administer the program, and whether or not their program is fixed, or it could be variable a little bit to include what you talked about there. But just give us an overall view.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, thank you, Council. I am Laura Nance with the Metro Water District. We do have our own rebate program available. We started it in 2008. We have about 22 water providers that participate in the program that we offer. Cherokee County is a participant. They have been since 2008. Our program used to allow 1.6 gallon toilets to be rebated up until the end of this year. We're going to end that, and beginning next year we're only going to do 1.28 gallon per flush toilets, and those toilets have to meet WaterSense certification by the EPA. It's kind of like Energy Star labels that you see on appliances. It's the same thing, but it's for water products. And we've been rebating them for $100. We will continue that into 2012. And our program is set. Everyone that participates in our program must follow the same guidelines just to keep it even across the board. So if you want some flexibility, you would probably want to do your own program in-house, which is fine. We just want you to have a program to be in compliance with our conservation measures with the Georgia EPD. So it is a $100 rebate, 2 toilets per household. It has to be an older home built in 1993 or before. It has to be a City of Canton customer that's up to date on their water bill payments. They would submit their paperwork to us. Like I said, we do 2 toilets per household. We will just check their paperwork and then notify the water department, customer service when they're approved, and you issue the credit to their water bill account. So that's the general basis of it, you can put as much funding as you want into the program, and then we have a contract that we just work through and we promote the program for you. So that's the general guidelines. I have some paperwork in front of you. Do you have any questions on that?
Let me, go ahead.
You indicated that it had to be older homes built.
1993 or prior. And that's because the plumbing codes changed, and after that point in 1994, it had to be a 1.6 gallon toilets were installed in homes from that point on, and so that's why we chose 1993. And most of the programs, I'm not sure, Councilman, if you saw this, but I think all of them in like the 15 county area, even if they run the program in-house and don't go through the Metro Water District, we pretty much all stick with 1993 or 1992 as the age of the home for the requirements.
So it's $100?
$100 up to 2 toilets. So it could be up to $200 max, so 2 toilets at $100. So that's a little bit more.
And the one I had developed here and based on the city of Carsville, it was only one toilet at $50. And the difference is, my logic was that if the person already has a 1.6 gallon toilet installed in their house, they're not gonna go out and buy another one just to get a $50 rebate. So I didn't think it really mattered that much. But also, if we went with the program like Cherokee Water does, and you administer it, there's a $10 fee
There is,
per
and I forgot to
application.
mention, I'm sorry, there is a $10 fee per approved toilet, so just to handle all the promotion and application fees and whatnot. And it's only if the customer is approved, it's $10 per toilet, so.
So how does that work? If I decide I want to replace a toilet in my home, where do I go, what do? I go to the water department here?
Yep, you can go to the water department, we'll have promotional materials there. We also have our own website, customer service phone number, email.
If I do
address.
this before I buy that new one?
You can go out and buy a new one as long as you purchase an eligible model. We've contacted all the stores. They should have information on the rebates. Or you can just contact us. We'll send you the list. We have hundreds and hundreds of toilets, like 18 pages long of toilets that you can purchase. And that should be all that's leaning towards in the store. They're supposed to, I mean, they're not stocking as many 1.6s anymore because the plumbing codes are going to be changing in the summer of 2012. And everything will go towards 1.28 gallon toilets. That's why we're only going to be rebating 1.28s next year. So.
Do you have any idea of how many rebates were issued in the region last year?
I don't have last year. On total, we've done 38,500 for the entire region.
Since 08?
Since 08. The Metro Water District has done 23,000. Cherokee County, they probably do, I would say, estimated 5 to 10 customers a week. And that's on
In
the
fact,
town.
that would be about right, because they told me about 239, I think, for a year, last year, I believe, so.
And they're pretty slow, and it just, you have to look at your housing stock and just have an idea of how many pre-1993 or whatever your cutoff's gonna be, just to see, you know, how much money you would want to put into something like that. Since, you know, we do ask that you have the program to meet the conservation measures, it's just a matter of what is feasible for the county, and for the city.
Does anybody have any questions?
Anything else?
I would like to ask Mr. Rush, you haven't seen this.
I did read some of the stuff on their website.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did download their application and kind of pirated some
Would
of
you
the
look?
stuff.
There.
I'd be happy to.
And that way we could.
Yeah, one of the big differences that I had programmed in here was in order with the local retailers giving the 10% discount, people would have to come into the water department or get it from our website, make out the application, come in here and get it approved by us, show it to the retailer to qualify for the 10% discount. Then after the toilet was installed, bring it back, showing proof of installation, and they get credit on their water bill.
And how much administration would be necessary on our part versus their part?
Yeah, obviously the cost savings, you know, be leaning towards doing your own program. I mean, obviously at $50 for a rebate, all you would have to do is you need to have a point person that create an application. They just need to the customer need to fill out the application, get the information, come in. Some water departments, I'm not sure about the city of Cartersville, but I know some of the small ones, there's not that many customers that apply, so they just come up to customer service and get the information that they need. That, for the 10% discount, they would go to the store, purchase the toilet, and then we require an original receipt and a water bill. Just sign the application, send it back in. You need to go through, see, since Councilman Rush's proposal just had 4 toilets that would be eligible for the program. We've got hundreds and hundreds, so we actually have to go through and see which toilets are eligible and whatnot, and accept or deny them from that. We pull up the tax records of their property to see what year their home was built, make sure they're up to date on their water bill payments, issue the rebate. It's not that complicated.
Okay, so the rebate is sent from you to the home, not from the city, right?
Yeah.
We allow a certain amount. We set like a budget of how much we're willing to do, and a maximum amount. And once you reach that on an annual basis, it ceases.
Yes, you can set it up. Your contract can either be on an annual basis or just till funding is expended. I know City of Woodstock, they're in our program as well, and they just do it until funding is expended. They put up $2,000 or $3,000 and just as far as it'll go. But you will actually have to issue, since we won't have access to the customer's accounts, the city would actually have to issue the credit to the customer's account for the rebate amount, and then twice a year we just send you a bill for the $10 fee that was charged for the approved customers.
Okay. Any other questions?
So it sounds like the administration is $10 over here, and then we'd have to have our own water department.
Someone would have to do it.
Do you know, Mr. Mayor, do you know how many customers Cherokee Water has overall?
About 70-something thousand.
70,000, and we have 8,000. So,
Yeah, right.
So I think with the proportion of what they're experiencing based on what we're experiencing, it wouldn't be that big a deal for us to handle it in-house.
And I think that actually that is a good idea, because the cost savings is there, and I will be glad to help whoever heads that up. We're happy to share documents and just help that. We just want you to have a program and to help your customers. We just ask that you report to us each year. We ask for a program summary, just give us an idea of how many toilets have been rebated, how many customers have been approved, just because we report that to the governor each year in our annual report that the district does. So.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
We have a nickname from our illustrious councilman, Rush, as last call. You might have to work on a new name for him if he's going to be in charge of this procedure.
It's called low flow.
I want to thank you very much for coming up tonight. We really appreciate it. It's been very informative, and we do need a program. If in-house is the best for us, then that's what we'll do. If we need to get back in touch with you on looking at this further, then we'll be back in touch with you. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank Pat Stevens as well.
I will.
Thank you. Not anything else? That's good. We need to implement a program. We need to continue this and not let this fade away. Discussion of bids for 15 kilowatt solar photovoltaic power system for the police department. Is that you, Ken?
Yes, sir, I'm afraid so.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, council members, we have been working with Georgia Environmental Finance Authority in regards to an energy efficiency conservation block grant over the last year. We've done some building retrofits. GFA sent out a notice back in October that there were surplus funds available in this grant program. One of the suggestions that in talking with the City of Canton's project manager at GFA was a solar array for one of the public buildings. Would be a renewable energy source and energy savings. We contacted 3 Metro Atlanta solar firms, submitted a application to GFA for additional funding. We have not received word from GFA yet as to whether we received funding. We did put out a request for bids. We had a bid opening this Tuesday. We received 2 bids. We did contact 3 firms in the Metro Atlanta area. One of those firms did submit a bid. The other firm is out of the state of Florida. We would recommend Mayor and Council consider at the next meeting an award of bid to the low bidder contingent upon GFA approval of the supplemental funding. This solar array panel will generate approximately 19,900 kW hours per year based upon the police department usage. That would equate to about 2 months of reductions of the Georgia Power electric bill for the police department. The life expectancy of the system is 25 years. Again, I would remind you that this GFA Energy Efficiency Grant is 100% grant, does not require any monies on the part of the city of Canton.
So now, tell me what this would look like.
It's going to be a rectangular area of an array of panels.
On the roof of the building?
Yes, sir. It will be tilted at a slight angle towards the south-southwest. The array would be approximately 30 by 70 feet, and it would tie in with the meter base there at the police department. The police department does have that mansard that goes around the edge that does help shield some of the units that are on top. We are certain that this could fit up on the top of the police department.
And you told me, Ken, that it would be placed such that it would not compromise the integrity of the new roof.
That is correct.
Would not
It would be a ballasted system instead of anchoring, so that that new roof would not have any type of a anchoring penetration and affect the warranty for that new roof.
Okay.
What is the monthly utility cost about for the electric?
I'm not sure what the monthly power bill is. I know on average the police department is running approximately 10,000 kW a month. In Georgia Power, I believe the current rates are 11 cents per kW.
That's $5,000 a month, is that $1,100, yeah, okay.
Police chief might know offhand what the monthly bill is, but like I said, we just completed energy audits of some of the buildings, part of this grant, and in that energy audit, it reflected that approximately 10,000 kW per month was the current usage of the police department.
So the bottom line is it wouldn't cost us anything.
Would not cost the city of Canton any money in regards to the installation, operations, very limited maintenance that's involved with this system. Would be set up so that it could be monitored via remote computer terminal outlet and that sort of thing.
Well, what would, I'm sorry, go ahead.
If it were to just quit working, it wouldn't be a cost item anyway unless we chose to repair it, right?
That is correct. And it does have a 25-year life and warranty. The 25-year warranty is if it goes to less than 80% production of kW power, then there's a 12-year warranty if it goes below 90,000 on replacement with the modules that we're looking at.
Any downside that you see to this?
No, sir.
What is the cost to the taxpayer, not necessarily the city taxpayer, but whoever's paying the bill? What's the cost estimate to put this in?
The low bid for the design, engineering, and installation was $54,933.
Okay. Yes, sir.
This is similar to the installation that's at Woodstock City Hall. I think they have a photovoltaic system on their building, and they have a panel inside. We were shown them we were there, and it cost them nothing as well.
Yes.
So the funding was 55,000.
That's what we requested, yes, sir.
So, and bids 54,933.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah.
Ms. Tanner, you have a question?
We'll be able to track usage and the savings combined.
Yes, ma'am.
The system that you're putting in, so the city will be able to see exactly what savings were incurred by this system and may in the future look at adding it to your location.
That is a possibility, yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members.
That'll be on the agenda, I'm assuming, for the meeting in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Discussion of the demolition bids for the 140 Jarvis Street house.
Shelby, you want to be available to answer questions on that, please? We did close on that property. The city does own that property now, so the next step in the progress of resolving the whole spate of problems down there now is to first of all raise that house. If we don't hurry up, it's going to be locked in the hole anyway, I think. Mr. West got 3 prices, including the address of asbestos abatement. And you want to explain the process by which you went about that?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. Yeah, as you know, the problem started when the house was built on a culvert that's since collapsed. It was decided by the city to purchase the property so we can maintain the line and get rid of the structure. The structure's built, it's over 60 years old, or even older. We went ahead, myself and Mr. Jimmy put together 3 qualified contractors. We came up with a total price for the low bidder was $14,175. What that includes is $600 for an asbestos survey, $85.75 to demolish the house, and it includes $5,000 for asbestos abatement if there are any asbestos found during the survey. And we would recommend this go on the next agenda to award the contract for the low bidder. There's a little bit of unclarity there as to the $5,000 that's in the abatement area, because we do not know how much, or if any, or how much abatement will be necessary.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
You said you developed a bid for specs.
Yes.
And then you selected 3 people to do, or 3 companies to do the bid, come back to us. How come you didn't throw it open to bids?
We selected 3 qualified companies that were local and have quite a bit of experience in this area that we were all familiar with.
Okay, then, when you put your specs, you had task 1, 2, and 3. 2 of them opted not to even give us a bid.
Okay, the reason there, they weren't comfortable including any cost for abatement because they do not know how much abatement will be necessary until they do their survey.
Well, so how can we then approve a company do task 1 and 2 when we know we need to have 3 done also? And then would we get the company that came back and said, oh, they gave us a bid for 5,000 plus or minus, they'll do that part. I think what we're going to do here is find ourselves in a situation where we might have asbestos and nobody wants to handle it.
John, what if we were to accept that 3rd low bid contingent on the $5,000 being adequate to remove any, if any, asbestos? If after they do task 1, they will be able to give a figure, if they don't know an estimate as far as the abatement goes, And if it's more than that 5,000, then we have to bid that out, which means we will be bidding out again number 2 and 3.
That's what I was gonna suggest.
I mean,
something like
contingent,
that.
but here's the thing is, if his abatement cost, if there is a need for abatement, and his abatement cost is 5,000 or less, then he won't have to come back to this council. But if it's more than that, then they'd have to come back.
It would be a conditional award based on the results of task 1.
Does that make any sense? We'll consider that, and that will be on the agenda for 2 weeks from now. Anybody else have a question?
The only other approach might be to go ahead and perform task 1 now and be able to report the results of task 1 at the next meeting.
We could go ahead and ask for one.
Now, that would be the degree of the work we would award them at this point, if we just there.
That'd be out of your 20,000.
If you just make a motion and approve it.
No, if he wants $600, so if he wants to go ahead, then we'd have a firm answer when we come back to together.
So we just want to, in other words, just make a motion to go ahead and do the study at the $600.
We can all nod our heads again.
We can make a motion to vote on
You
it.
have 2 companies, or you make a suggestion because you have 2 companies who are considering task 1 $600, and you're looking at the low bidder that we were considering overall.
Yes, ma'am. Right.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we do just that, award task 1 to Nolan tonight with the condition that they get back to us with the report before our next meeting in 2 weeks.
They can do that at any time. We have a second. Have a motion, a second. Any other discussion?
I don't have a problem with the motion, of the fact is that this is a work session, this is not, we're voting.
Well, I think this may be,
Mr. Council,
it's a little bit of a,
it's not on the agenda.
it's not on the agenda as a voting item necessarily, but it's, we do have, you can vote at these meetings, if that's what the council chooses to do.
I just want to remember it in the future.
Okay.
Make note of it.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other questions, discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. You do, John? You vote for that? All members voted for the motion. Thank you, Joe. Item 7E, discussion of fee for Sunday package sales. Mr. Rush?
Based on the public comment period we had earlier, I think I'm totally opposed to an additional fee for Sunday package sales, partially because, and even before that, just because the voters approved it, and they didn't approve it with an extra fee, they just approved it. So I think we just, as if we're charging, we're charging more than the surrounding communities now, this is just gonna go on. So
I think the only question I would have there is that would we then need to do away with the extra Sunday fee for pouring license, which we do have. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me.
This is
I know it's a package, but do you want to have a difference there? Can you justify a difference? I mean, why charge a Sunday fee, additional Sunday license fee for pouring if you don't charge one for package? I mean, what, does it make any difference?
It's oranges and bananas.
Well, you got, I'm assuming you have 2 separate laws affecting this. Is that, Mr. Attorney? Well, you got, didn't we have to do something special to have Sunday pouring sales?
Yes.
Okay. In fact, that was a referendum, I believe, wasn't it?
Yes.
Had a referendum to do that. So there's two, we didn't have a referendum just to issue pouring license, right? Yeah, we had a
At one point, you had
referendum. The city called back.
You had a referendum for a port, to allow pouring, and then you have to have a separate referendum to do Sunday. I believe Canton did it 2 different times. We allowed restaurants and pouring, and then several years later, we voted to allow Sunday sales. So the Sunday sales has always been treated as a separate license, for some reason. You don't have to have a Sunday license. You can do it the rest of the week and not come by your Sunday license. So it's always been a separate license with a separate fee. Now, whether it's good or bad.
I think it ought to just be one fee, whether it's Monday through Sunday, you know.
Mr. Mayor, we said earlier, and I believe you said it, we should have a survey of what the
Others are doing.
And then make our decision based upon that. And I agree with you. I think if we're gonna have one fee, it should be, you can
For the whole week.
pour the whole week or sell the whole week, whatever it is, but if they wanna sell on Sunday, shut down.
Is there any justification for an extra fee? Does it cost the city anything more? No.
You have to review it. I mean, if they come in, they apply for the Sunday license, much like they apply for the regular license. So it's an application. That costs $5.
Well, I think there's a separate fee for that. Yeah, there's a $300 application fee.
That's gonna be an investigation.
Oh, for the first.
That's the initial.
So there's not an application fee for the Sunday sale. Yeah. Well, I'm like the mayor. Look, let's just treat Sunday with a special fee. Maybe we could do them both.
I think we need to ask the city manager if he would to do a survey of license fees in the area. I mean, what is a common license fee? You know, we heard tonight that some city may have $750 and we're at $2,000. Are we discouraging business in that respect? So I think before our next meeting, if we could get a survey of what others are doing along with this Sunday package and Sunday pouring sales, and I think we'll have a better handle on what direction we need to go.
I'll agree with that.
That was a good second. I like that. Okay. Okay. Any other comments or questions about that?
The only thing I might point out, Mayor, is I think everybody in the room knows that the allowance of package Sunday sales just passed, and there's not going to be a lot of comparables out there, because a lot of cities are right where we are. There may be some that are slightly ahead of us, and we'll get those at the end, but there won't be a lot of them.
Yeah, there should be several though that's in the process. They may be calling us to see what we're doing.
Right. Whatever's good. 750 for Cherokee. And 2,000 for us.
That's what we heard tonight, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be for the general license.
Yeah, general
I mean, we should look at the whole package.
Yes, I agree.
But
If you're going to consider changing fees, you need to do it next meeting, because the renewals are going out, aren't they? I mean, we're actually getting them now already, right?
Already.
So you probably can't change them in 2012, because the deadline is this month.
So, but we could, hey, how do we actually, how do we do the fee for package? Can we, is that an ordinance change, or is it just a resolution? By resolution. So we could do it at the next meeting and still have effect for the 18th sales, right?
The general license is already passed, right, the deadline. It was last.
We've already collected for 2012.
Right, that was last week or week before. Forgive me, I don't have my dates exact yet.
Okay, well, what we need, if we wanted one fee, we could change that fee effective at the beginning of the next license period. And if we chose not to have a fee for Sunday sales, we could do that.
We could even rebate the people that have already paid the fees.
Now, Merry Christmas.
Let's just do it. That's when they need relief, not next year, right now.
Anyway, keep that in mind.
Okay, so we are going to have our second reading
Of the Sunday sales.
of the Sunday package sales on the 15th. And so we'll have a vote on that on the 15th, and hopefully at that same time, do whatever we're going to do with this, particularly any additional fee if we're going to do that. Okay. Anything else? All right, city manager's report.
Just two or three things real quick, Mr. Mayor. One, we have scheduled an administrative orientation for our two new council members, Cummins, Mr. Upton, I believe, for Monday and Tuesday week. I believe we'll consume most of those days and look forward to acquainting them with the various administrative responsibilities and activities of our departments. In response to a recent media question, our snow plows, two new snow plows and our new spreader are greased up, warmed up, ready to go. So if Mother Nature brings it on, I hope we'll be well prepared for that. And we should introduce Susan Stanton. We did not do that at the outset of the meeting. She is our new city clerk. She's an attorney and a city resident, and has hit the ground running as of Monday of last week. And we all welcome her, and she is fitting in very, very good so far. So we look forward to working with her.
That's it? Good. Okay, if we don't have anything else, unless anyone has anything they want to bring up. Jack, go ahead.
I would bring up Vital Systems once again. They came and spoke to our council meeting in the past, actually because it was a work session. And I talked to Mr. Dyer about the contract that they provided to us. And just to refresh you all, what they do is they take wastewater and make it into an ethanol product and also fertilizer as well. And it would be the savings to us in that they can take our raw sewage and do this. They're wanting to take, they gave us a contract for us to look at, and Mr. Dyer's looked at it and gotten back in touch with Mr. Shaper. He's supposed to sign that, look over it and sign it, get back with us, and hopefully next, I put it on the schedule for the next council meeting that we look over that. What it would do is allow him to come in and look into our facility, see what we need in order to have this done here at Canton. And one other thing about that, it would produce the waste we're producing right now, the sludge. If you would have, instead of us having to pay to have it removed, they would be removing it all. We get $200,000 on the quantity that we're using right now. That's the figures they use. Plus, we would not have to treat near as much, so we'd be saving in chemicals and things of that nature. The program sounds very good. It's an advanced program. They're doing it in some other cities. It sounds very interesting. So hopefully we'll be able to tell more about it in the next meeting.
Okay, good. So that will be, we'll put that on our agenda for next 15. Yeah.
I want to thank Councilman Good for coming forward with this program. But I have yet to see anything, brochures, information about it. That's the reason I voted against that. I want to see the program. And if you've got the information, please share it so that when we do come in 2 weeks, I'll have, I can't say knowledge, but I'll at least read it over and find out what's going on. Because, you know, council said it looks good, that's fine, but it's part of my responsibility to know what I'm doing. So, would you, if they have it, or?
Yes, I'll get some information. I'll get everybody some information.
What?
Can I?
Go ahead.
All we'll be voting on the 15th will be an agreement. Basically what Biosystems wants is protection, that we would not enter into a business arrangement with the people who actually provide the technologies. They want to protect themselves. So all you're really doing is agreeing to basically introduce us to technology people who will come in and explain and determine whether it would be feasible here and whether it would make sense. So there'll be subsequent votes. This is really just inviting them in and providing them protection, which I don't see harm in doing. This is the first step.
It's well and good, but What am I looking at? Nothing.
Well, that's
So-
what, once that's done, then they will come in and explain it all to us and give us the lowdown of everything. But they want protection on that one item. Am I right, Mr. Dunn?
Yeah, because you're dealing with patented technology, sometimes you go slow, but there's gonna be a back and forth. Basically, these people could have come to the staff, who could have provided them information, determine whether it would work and be feasible, then the first time you hear about it is when somebody's making a proposal, and then you get all the information and so forth. So, I'm not sure how much information you're gonna get. That's really why I spoke up. We're just at the beginning stages, and they're very protective of their patented technology. These guys are just revenue.
Maybe I'm not looking. Obviously, you had some information that said, hey, great ideas.
Right.
Okay. So, if that's all you got is one little piece of paper, I'd still like to see it.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand what it was about, but I'm not doing anything that I don't know.
I'm just trying to make sure you know what's coming. It's just gonna be a non-disclosure protection agreement.
Okay. But all we voted for before was to allow them to come in and do that study, just to see if it was feasible.
Subject to the contract, which you now have to approve the contract. So you really haven't even approved that yet.
So, the contract for them to determine feasibility.
The contract is to protect Biosystems Energy, who's then gonna bring in the people to determine these, but what, and we can just say, we're not entering into that agreement. We don't, if it's a good idea, it's a good idea, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna worry about you, Biosystems, but they're trying to protect themselves to make sure that once we meet the people who actually provide the technology, that we don't just do a deal with them.
Do we have the legal authority to issue some sort of exclusivity on the future event?
I think we have the authority to say, we agree that if we do any business with anybody they introduce to us, that they'll be involved, which is all I think we can do, and that's what they want.
Okay, yeah.
Their agreement was more than we could do. That's why I had problems with it. It was arbitration under the International Chamber of Commerce and all this stuff. And I boiled it down to what I thought we could do, which is say, we will agree that we will not enter into a business arrangement with somebody you introduce us to without you being involved.
So we're not limiting ourselves at all as to who we can do business with if we decide we don't like them. We're just saying, you already took their voluminous, complicated, and restrictive agreement, boiled it down to something simple we can live with, and your advice to us is to sign this because it couldn't possibly do any damage to us. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, because you don't have any business with anybody. You can decide that it doesn't make any sense, that it doesn't really save us money, that it doesn't.
All we're agreeing to is to, if we decide to use them, what?
We won't cut them out of a deal they bring, of a transaction they bring to us. We don't even have to have the contract. They're asking for the contract.
But we could go with another company doing the same thing. Even if we signed it.
If we decided, if we decided it was a good idea, but you said, let's put it out to bid, maybe other people will pay us more.
Yeah.
Per ton of sludge or whatever, and we could do that. If we ended up accepting a bid from the people they've introduced to us, it would be a different deal. Here's what will really happen. If you decide it's a good idea, we're gonna sit down and negotiate with these people, and we may say, you know what, Biosystem, we don't see that you really add any value to this. If you're gonna get paid, you're gonna pay by them, not us. We don't care. So a lot's good. We're just stepping into it. I mean, it's basically, the idea's been brought. They're saying we'd like protection. You could decide on the 15th. We don't want to give you that protection. We just want to find out if it's a good idea or not.
I'm not sure if stepping into it's a good thing.
All right. Okay, just
Go ahead, John. I'll be out with you.
So, let's say, okay, we go ahead and say, go ahead, just move ahead. A year later, we find out another company will come in and give us a better deal. Are we locked from then on?
Not unless we block ourselves. This agreement won't block us.
Jack, you have something?
That makes sense?
Well, that's what you're saying, that makes sense, if that's what you're saying.
Well, I also wanted to mention, I'll have Mr. Schaefer come here, or the other, his partner come that night and give us a little bit more information. How's that?
Mr. Rush?
Well, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is all they're asking us to do is to come in and look at our facilities and tell us if this thing is even feasible. And if it's not feasible, it doesn't matter who we go with, because it's still not feasible. So we're not.
We don't need a contract for that. The
Correct.
contract is because they don't want us to cut them out.
Exactly. If it turns out feasible, they don't want us to go to their supplier, more or less.
Exactly.
And that's perfectly
Like
understandable.
protecting a real estate agent.
Exactly. You know what percent that is?
I don't know, I talked to Mr. Schaefer, and there is no business model idea there. This is just, the technology is being used somewhere else for other purposes. But they're interested in kind of putting their name on it, so they go, if it works here, they can go market it elsewhere. But I don't know if they're a sales rep, I don't know if they're partners, I don't do venture, I don't, all of that we have to figure out. And like I said, if you're really concerned about it, when you just say no, we don't want to enter that agreement, I think they'd still bring it to you.
No, I think the idea is a super idea, and I think we can make money off of it and save money. I think it's great. I don't have a problem with it. And I just have a problem with the unknowns.
It's a black box, John.
Anyone else? That's actually all we have on the agenda, so. Second, those in favor, signify by saying aye.